Ladies and gentlemen, life in all its beauty and complexity presents us with a paradox. The very people who are meant to be our greatest support, our family, can sometimes be the source of our deepest struggles. It is an unfortunate reality, but it is also one that we must confront and navigate if we are to preserve the peace within ourselves. Family is meant to be a source of comfort, stability, and love. Yet the dynamics within a family can sometimes turn toxic, creating an environment where conflict, resentment, and emotional turmoil reign. We are often taught that no matter what happens, family is supposed to come first. But what happens when the very people who are supposed to have your back are the ones who cause you the most harm? This is not an easy question to answer, but it is one that we must wrestle with if we are to protect our peace. The truth is, peace is not something that can be gifted to us. It is something that we must fight for. Peace is a state of mind, a place within us that must be carefully guarded against the chaos that life often throws our way. But guarding that peace doesn't mean closing ourselves off from the world. It means knowing when to protect our hearts and our minds from people, even those closest to us, whose actions threaten the very foundation of our well-being. You see, sometimes the people we love the most can become the source of our greatest pain, not because they intend to hurt us, but because of the way they project their own wounds onto us. Every human being is shaped by their past, their experiences, and their unhealed scars. And when those scars are left unresolved, they can bleed into our relationships, distorting the way we interact with one another. This is particularly true within families, where unresolved emotions and unspoken expectations can create a breeding ground for resentment, judgment, and conflict. In such situations, protecting your peace requires a profound understanding of boundaries. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are the guidelines that ensure your well-being is not compromised by the actions or expectations of others. Setting boundaries does not mean that you are rejecting your family or turning your back on them. It simply means that you are choosing to protect your inner world, your mental health, and your sense of self from being consumed by the toxicity that may surround you. Too often we feel a sense of obligation to be everything for our families. We take on the role of the peacemaker, the mediator, the problem solver, even when doing so means sacrificing our own peace. We carry burdens that were never ours to carry, and in doing so, we allow ourselves to be drawn into the drama and dysfunction that we cannot control. But true peace is found in recognizing that we cannot be the answer to every problem, and we must stop believing that our worth is determined by our ability to save others from their own struggles. It is also essential to recognize that protecting your peace does not require you to sever relationships with your family. There may be times when distance is necessary for your emotional health, but that distance doesn't have to be permanent. Sometimes it's simply a matter of choosing when and how you engage with certain family members. It's about knowing when to say no, knowing when to step back, and recognizing that you do not have to tolerate negativity, manipulation, or toxic behavior simply because it comes from a family member. You are not obligated to sacrifice your peace for anyone, no matter their relationship to you. Moreover, we must confront the truth that family dynamics can sometimes foster an environment of emotional manipulation. Family members may guilt us into staying in relationships or situations that are detrimental to our peace, using phrases like "your family" or "you owe it to us." These manipulations can make us feel responsible for the happiness of others, and in doing so, we forget that our own happiness is just as important. You have the right to say no. You have the right to stand firm in your convictions, and you have the right to protect your inner peace at all costs. In the midst of these challenges, we must also remember that family members, like everyone else, are humans. They have their own struggles, their own pain, and their own insecurities. While this understanding does not excuse toxic or abusive behavior, it can help us to view family members with compassion, even when we choose to protect ourselves from their negative influence. Compassion does not mean tolerating behavior that harms you. It simply means recognizing that the root of their behavior may lie in their own unresolved issues. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do for someone is to set boundaries and protect your peace, even if they do not understand it. And how do we protect that peace? First, we must develop the strength to walk away from situations or people that disrupt our sense of inner calm. This might mean declining invitations to gatherings where conflict is inevitable, or choosing to have difficult conversations about the boundaries you need in place. It also means being willing to walk in forgiveness, not for the sake of others, but for the sake of your own peace. Forgiveness is not about excusing someone's actions. It is about releasing the hold that their actions have over your heart and mind. When you forgive, you free yourself from the chains of resentment, bitterness, and anger that can steal your peace. It is only when we let go of these negative emotions that we can truly move forward, unhindered by the weight of past hurts. Second, protecting your peace involves surrounding yourself with people who uplift, encourage, and support you. Family is not the only place where you can find love and connection. There are friends, mentors, and communities that can offer the support and encouragement you need to maintain your peace. The people you allow into your inner circle should be people who add to your life, not take away from it. Finally, protecting your peace requires you to take control of your own mental and emotional health. This means practicing self-care, engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, and learning how to process your emotions in healthy ways. When you are strong in your own mind and spirit, the negative influences of others have less power to affect you. In conclusion, the truth is that family can sometimes become the enemy of our peace. Not because they intend to harm us, but because of their own unresolved pain and dysfunction. However, it is our responsibility to protect our peace, to set boundaries, and to choose who and what we allow to influence our inner world. We must have the courage to walk away from toxicity, to forgive, and to surround ourselves with those who bring positivity into our lives. Above all, we must recognize that our peace is worth protecting. It is not a luxury, it is a necessity. And in protecting our peace, we give ourselves the freedom to thrive, to love, and to live in alignment with the person we are truly meant to be. May you have the wisdom, strength, and grace to protect your peace no matter what comes your way. Thank you. Boundaries are essential for protecting your peace, especially when dealing with family dynamics. In many families, there is an unspoken expectation that we must always be available, always give, and always put others before ourselves. This sense of obligation can be overwhelming and can quickly lead to emotional burnout if not carefully managed. The reality is that you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you constantly allow others to violate your space, your time, and your emotional energy without setting limits, you will eventually find yourself drained and resentful. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you are being selfish or rejecting your family. It simply means that you are taking responsibility for your own well-being. Boundaries act as a protective barrier, ensuring that you maintain a sense of self, even in the midst of complex family relationships. When you create boundaries, you are communicating to others that your emotional and mental health matter. This can be especially difficult in family settings where there may be an unspoken expectation that you should always give in, always forgive, and always put others' needs above your own. But it is crucial to realize that you have the right to say no, to take space, and to demand respect for your time, energy, and emotions. Boundaries come in many forms. They might involve physical boundaries, like asking for privacy or personal space. They could be emotional, where you set limits on how much emotional labor you are willing to give, or even communication boundaries, where you establish that certain topics are off limits for discussion. The key is to recognize where you feel emotionally drained, manipulated, or taken advantage of, and to be proactive in protecting your peace by putting those limits in place. In some cases, family members may not immediately understand or appreciate the boundaries you set. They may try to push against them, guilt trip you, or accuse you of being distant or uncaring. However, it's important to remember that setting boundaries is not about them. It's about you. You are not responsible for how others react to your boundaries, but you are responsible for maintaining your peace. By asserting your boundaries, you are teaching others how to treat you and protecting yourself from emotional harm. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a way to absolve others of their wrongdoings, but in reality, it is a powerful tool for protecting your own peace. When someone hurts us, especially family members, it is easy to carry the weight of that pain for years. We replay the offense in our minds, and it begins to consume our thoughts, emotions, and even our actions. We may think that by holding on to this pain, we are punishing the person who wronged us. But in truth, holding on to unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The only person being harmed is you. Forgiveness does not mean you forget what happened or excuse bad behavior. It does not mean you are saying that the other person's actions were acceptable. Rather, forgiveness is an act of self-liberation. When you forgive, you release the control that the person or event has over your emotional state. You stop allowing their actions to dictate your mood, your peace, and your happiness. It is a decision to let go of the anger, resentment, and bitterness that can eat away at your soul. By forgiving, you free yourself from the emotional chains that bind you to the past. One of the most difficult aspects of forgiveness, especially when it comes to family, is the feeling that you are expected to forgive immediately or unconditionally. Society or even family members may put pressure on you to forgive quickly, perhaps without giving you the time and space to heal. However, forgiveness is not a one-time event. It is a process. It requires you to acknowledge the hurt, to sit with the pain, and to consciously choose to let go of it. It is not always easy, and it often takes time, but the peace that comes from releasing the burden of unforgiveness is immeasurable. Forgiveness is also about reclaiming your power. When you hold on to anger or resentment, you give the other person power over you because their actions continue to affect your emotional state. But when you forgive, you take back control of your own peace and well-being. You no longer allow someone else's actions to determine your emotional reality. It is an act of strength, not weakness, and it is essential for protecting your peace. Family dynamics can often be complex and at times deeply challenging. The very people who are supposed to offer unconditional love and support can sometimes become sources of significant emotional strain. This is especially true when unresolved pain and unhealed wounds are projected onto others, particularly within the family unit. Many times, a family member's toxic behavior or negative patterns are rooted in their own past trauma or emotional baggage. However, just because someone is acting out of their own unresolved pain doesn't mean that you should have to absorb it, tolerate it, or allow it to impact your peace. We must acknowledge that family members, like all individuals, are shaped by their past experiences. They carry emotional baggage, past hurt, and unresolved conflicts that often influence the way they interact with others. These unresolved issues can lead to unhealthy patterns of communication, manipulation, or even emotional abuse. Family members may project their frustrations, anger, or disappointments onto others, and often the ones closest to them, those who are the most emotionally available, become the recipients of this misplaced energy. While this understanding can create compassion, it should never be an excuse for tolerating behavior that undermines your well-being. Just because someone is struggling does not mean you have to subject yourself to their harmful actions. Recognizing the source of someone's negative behavior doesn't mean you have to internalize it or allow it to affect your emotional state. You can understand that their actions are a reflection of their own struggles while still drawing a clear line in how you engage with them. It's important to remember that protecting your peace is not about judging or condemning others for their behavior. Rather, it is about recognizing when their behavior is toxic and choosing to distance yourself from it in order to preserve your own emotional health. You can still offer compassion, understanding, and even forgiveness without allowing their unresolved issues to invade your personal space. This requires discernment and strength, as it's not always easy to detach from family members who might be struggling with their own battles. But it is a necessary step in maintaining your peace and emotional clarity. Ultimately, you cannot change others, nor are you responsible for their healing. What you are responsible for is protecting your own peace, which may sometimes mean creating distance or setting strict boundaries with family members whose behavior negatively impacts you. Self-care is one of the most essential practices in protecting your peace, yet it is often overlooked or underestimated, especially in the context of family. We can easily become so focused on caring for others, whether it's through meeting the emotional, financial, or social needs of our family members, that we forget to tend to our own emotional, mental, and physical well-being. However, neglecting self-care can lead to burnout, resentment, and a loss of personal identity. When we give everything to others without replenishing ourselves, we risk depleting our energy, which leaves us vulnerable to the chaos around us. Self-care isn't just about pampering yourself. It's about prioritizing your mental and emotional health in a way that allows you to function at your best. It's about recognizing when you need rest, when you need to set boundaries, and when you need to step away from situations or people that drain your energy. Self-care requires you to take ownership of your well-being and recognize that you cannot give from an empty vessel. In order to protect your peace, you must engage in regular practices that nurture your body, mind, and spirit. Engaging in self-care involves setting aside time for activities that recharge and rejuvenate you. This could include physical exercise, hobbies, meditation, journaling, or simply resting. These activities create space for you to reconnect with yourself and regain your emotional equilibrium. By dedicating time to your own well-being, you are strengthening your ability to handle the emotional challenges that may arise in your family dynamics. Self-care also helps you build resilience, enabling you to face difficult situations with a clearer, more composed mind. Additionally, self-care means learning to say no. Often family can place pressure on us to meet their needs, to take on more than we can handle, or to prioritize their emotional needs above our own. While it's natural to want to support our loved ones, constantly putting their needs before our own can leave us feeling depleted. Saying no is not about rejecting them. It's about acknowledging that you need to preserve your energy to be your best self, both for them and for you. When you say no to things that drain you, you are saying yes to your own well-being and ensuring that you have the strength to navigate your relationships in a healthy way. Taking time for self-care also requires you to be intentional about your emotional boundaries. This involves recognizing the activities or people that have a negative impact on your peace and actively choosing to distance yourself from them when necessary. Practicing self-care means learning to protect your peace by making decisions that honor your emotional needs rather than succumbing to the pressures that others may place on you. By doing so, you create a healthier, more balanced relationship with yourself and with others. The people you surround yourself with play a significant role in either enhancing or diminishing your peace. Family, friends, and colleagues all have an impact on your emotional well-being, and it is vital to be discerning about who you allow into your inner circle. Not everyone in your life will contribute positively to your growth and peace. And understanding the difference between those who uplift you and those who drain you is crucial to maintaining your emotional health. Surrounding yourself with people who encourage, support, and respect you is essential to protecting your peace, especially when faced with challenging family dynamics. The influence of toxic relationships cannot be underestimated. There are individuals who, through their behavior, attitudes, and energy, create stress, negativity, and even chaos in your life. Whether it's through manipulation, constant criticism, jealousy, or emotional volatility, these people can drain your energy and hinder your ability to maintain a peaceful state of mind. While it can be difficult to distance yourself from family members or close friends who exhibit such behavior, it is necessary for the sake of your own well-being. Toxic individuals may not always intend to hurt you, but their actions can have a profound impact on your emotional health. On the other hand, the presence of positive, supportive people in your life creates an environment where peace can flourish. These individuals uplift you, encourage your growth, and stand by you in both good and challenging times. They validate your emotions, respect your boundaries, and help you stay grounded. Having people like this in your life acts as a protective shield, allowing you to navigate the turbulence of family or other stressors with a sense of balance and support. It is essential to recognize these people and nurture these relationships, as they are invaluable sources of strength and peace. Furthermore, the need for positive relationships is not just about avoiding negative influences. It's also about actively cultivating connections with people who inspire you, challenge you in healthy ways, and offer mutual respect. It is crucial to foster relationships where love, trust, and respect are reciprocal. These types of connections allow you to feel secure in your own sense of self, and they reinforce the boundaries you've set to protect your peace. While no relationship is perfect, a healthy and supportive circle provides the foundation needed to face life's challenges with strength and resilience. Recognizing when a relationship is no longer beneficial to your peace is important. Sometimes you may need to take a step back from people who consistently disrupt your sense of calm. In certain cases, distancing yourself from toxic relationships is the most loving thing you can do, not just for yourself, but for the other person as well. Protecting your peace should always be a priority, and the people you choose to share your life with should be those who support that goal. In life, we are often told that family is everything, that it's where we should find unconditional love, support, and peace. While that may be true for some, the reality is that not all family dynamics contribute positively to our well-being. In fact, there are times when the very people who should be a source of strength can become the ones who threaten our inner peace. The key to protecting that peace lies in understanding that while you cannot control the behavior of others, you have full control over how you respond, who you allow in your life, and the boundaries you set to safeguard your emotional health. The first step in protecting your peace is recognizing the importance of boundaries. Without boundaries, we open ourselves up to being manipulated, taken advantage of, or emotionally drained. Setting boundaries isn't about rejecting others or being selfish. It's about ensuring that your own mental and emotional health remains intact. It is about asserting that your well-being matters and that you will no longer tolerate behavior that undermines your peace. Boundaries may be challenging, especially with family, because of the guilt or pressure to keep the peace or meet their expectations. But setting limits is an essential part of self-respect, and when done with love and clarity, boundaries can actually improve relationships in the long run. Forgiveness is another powerful tool in protecting your peace. It can be one of the hardest things to do, especially when the hurt comes from someone close. But holding on to anger and resentment only keeps you tethered to the past, robbing you of the peace you deserve in the present. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning someone's harmful actions. Rather, it means releasing the emotional hold that past wrongs have on your life. When you forgive, you free yourself from the emotional burden of grudges and open up space for healing, growth, and peace. Understanding the complexity of family dynamics can also guide us in protecting our peace. Family members, like everyone else, are shaped by their own life experiences, many of which are not immediately visible. Often when they project negative behavior or emotions onto us, it's because of unresolved pain or trauma within themselves. While it's important to show compassion and understanding, it's also necessary to recognize when someone's behavior is crossing a line and affecting your well-being. Protecting your peace in these situations doesn't mean cutting ties, but it may mean creating distance or reinforcing boundaries to prevent their issues from negatively impacting your emotional state. Self-care is equally vital in protecting your peace. When we care for ourselves physically, emotionally, and mentally, we build resilience to the challenges life throws at us. We replenish our energy, process our emotions, and gain clarity on what we need to maintain balance in our lives. Self-care isn't just about pampering yourself. It's about recognizing when you need to step back, take time for yourself, and prioritize your health and happiness. Without self-care, you cannot effectively navigate family challenges or set the boundaries necessary to protect your peace. Finally, the people you surround yourself with have a direct impact on your peace. Choosing relationships that nurture, support, and respect your boundaries is a crucial part of maintaining inner calm. Whether these relationships are with family, friends, or colleagues, having a circle of individuals who uplift you creates a safe space for healing, growth, and balance. Conversely, toxic or draining relationships can quickly erode your peace and contribute to stress, anxiety, and emotional turmoil. Learning to distance yourself from people who do not add value to your life and cultivating relationships with those who do is one of the most empowering steps you can take to protect your inner peace. In conclusion, protecting your peace is not a passive act. It requires intentional effort, self-awareness, and the courage to make difficult decisions for the sake of your mental and emotional health. By setting boundaries, practicing forgiveness, understanding family dynamics, prioritizing self-care, and surrounding yourself with supportive people, you are actively choosing to protect the most precious thing you have, your inner peace. It's a lifelong journey, but it's a necessary one, as your peace is the foundation from which you can live a balanced, fulfilling, and empowered life.